All right, it is the Ides of March, and I am keeping a promise to myself. So, welcome everyone to the relaunch of my new booktube and writing channel. So, first of all, my name is Katie, and this is the third time that I've tried to start a YouTube channel. And this is the time that I think I am the most confident that I'm gonna succeed. So first off, if you are curious about my Ides of March comment, stay tuned. That'll come up again later in the video, and I will explain what the Ides of March is. If you recognize it, good for you. If you're wondering why it's relevant to this video or what I'm doing, again, stay tuned. But anyway, basically, all you need to know for now is that the Ides of March is the 15th of March. And today is the day that I said I was going to post a new video, the first video of my new channel. And I'm keeping that promise to myself. So, yay. So why am I here, and why is this different from previous attempts that I've made to start a booktube channel? So, I first found both booktube and like writertube or authortube, I've heard both names tossed around here and there, back in 2015. That was the year that I decided I was going to do NaNoWriMo for the first time, and I decided that I was going to see if anybody had like vlogged their experiences in NaNoWriMo, like try to set myself up to do NaNoWriMo, and also to get a little insider view. Is this something I even wanted to do after hearing about it for so many years? I think I'd been hearing about it since like 2008, 2009. So 2015, I decided, oh, you know, I actually am kind of able to do it. I was in between my bachelor's degree and my master's degree, so I actually had the time in November to write for 30 days without finals and all that stuff getting in the way. And when I discovered booktube, because one Christina Horner, she's not really active on booktube anymore, she's still active on Instagram. She used to vlog her writing during NaNoWriMo, and then the rest of the year most of her content was bookish. And I discovered both booktube and writertube through her and her videos, and that was one of the best rabbit holes I ever fell into. I think the deciding factor when I knew I wanted to get into booktube was when I saw the tag videos. I thought they were the most fun thing, and there were so many books that I loved that I was like, oh, that'd be a perfect answer to that, you know, tag question or prompt or whatever. And then with writertube, with people who are making videos about writing craft, I was like, oh my gosh, do I have opinions on these subjects that I need an outlet for? So yeah, I wanted to particularly get into booktube first, then maybe writertube later. But yeah, I found out very quickly that I had stage fright. I knew I had stage fright from high school, but that translated to camera shyness when I actually went and got a camera and turned it on. And so that meant that I had to either decide I was going to get over that fear and practice vlog until I was comfortable enough to make videos for posting, or else I was just not going to be able to be on YouTube at all. So 2017, I tried the first time to join booktube, and I only got a few videos in before I got overwhelmed because I was in grad school at that point and I could not keep up with grad school and having a film schedule and upload schedule. And then the following year, 2018, last year actually, I tried again, and it only proved that I probably should not have tried to start a YouTube channel during grad school. I'm sure there's someone out there somewhere that can make that work, and I was not that person. So anyway, so fast forward to this year, I have been asking myself over and over again, did I want to try this again? And the answer was yes, but it had evolved from what I originally wanted in 2015. Nowadays, I'm not content with the idea of just filming unboxings and book reviews and like top 5 favorites lists. Like, those are nice. I'll probably do some of them to some extent if I feel inspired, but it wasn't hitting the right mark for me. It wasn't quite enough for me. And the same thing with talking about writing craft. There was like something missing. I was on Instagram and one of my buddy readers mentioned that she liked to have a Bookstagram channel as a way of documenting her journey as a reader. And that word clicked, because when I was practice vlogging to get over my fear of cameras, it was absolutely the most fun when I was not intending to post and I didn't have an audience to impress. I loved vlogging, and I realized, oh my gosh, what I really want is not just to talk about books. I need to fangirl about books, also films, also TV, anime, manga. I love it all. Yes, I say anime and manga because I did a year-long of study abroad in Japan. I lived in Tokyo for a year. I can't Americanize those words anymore, guys. It's like just, it's beaten out of me forever. So anyway, I wish I could remember which of my buddy readers described her Bookstagram channel as, you know, like documenting her journey. Because I loved that idea. You know, because of my writing, I ended up getting an invite to submit my work to a master's program for writing and producing for television. And I got into that program not because I had any background in film, but because of my writing. That was great because I didn't just want to publish books. I also wanted to do my own film adaptations after I've seen one too many bad adaptations. But I had no idea where to get started, and I still feel, even after getting my master's, like an absolute newbie. Like I know nothing, or at least I don't know half of what I wish I knew. So the idea of this being a documentation of my journey was perfect. I can document myself as I learn filmmaking. I can document my reading journey as I get to experience all these books and series, both backlist titles that I've wanted to get into and haven't, for whatever reason, gotten into yet, new titles. I can document the development of my book, my first book. My first attempt at writing a novel was when I was 13 years old. That was when I first got into Lord of the Rings. I'd already been into The Hobbit when I was younger, but then I got into Lord of the Rings in middle school. That was when the films were coming out. And Tolkien just made me want to write. He's always made me want to be a writer. And my first attempt at writing when I was 13 was way too derivative of Lord of the Rings. And I've had quite the journey since then of playing around with fan fiction and having years where like stuff in my personal life was just getting in the way of writing, and I let it fall to the wayside for a while. And then in summer of 2015, a series of events led me to the novel that I am working on now. And on February 2nd of 2019, I attended Maggie Stiefvater's writing workshop in Manhattan. And oh my gosh, what she described as part of her process is called pre-writing, where she lets the story build up in her head. And she goes through all these stages of envisioning it in her head before she actually starts putting stuff down on paper. And I realized, oh my gosh, that's what I've done. And it always made me feel frustrated how much time I've spent like developing the story in my head and then having trouble getting it onto paper. And the way that she described her pre-writing stages, I was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing something similar and I never even knew it. And now that I have something to call it and I have almost like a blueprint to work with, I can better channel it onto the page, because I know that eventually it would have come out as a finished draft. I mean, I have over 100,000 words of like snippets that I wrote during multiple NaNoWriMos, but they're not a cohesive story, and they're not a cohesive draft that I could edit. And now I actually have the tools to identify what's going on in my head so I could get it down. And I would love to actually put that out there. I would love to actually like document this process. I consider February 2nd, 2019, I'm going to start crying, to be like the first day of my new draft. And this is the draft that I want to become the finished first draft, so that I can then edit it into a second draft and a third draft, and then I can get it published. And then I can move on to more projects. I have ideas from as far back as like 2012, actually some ideas even older than that, that have just been sitting in a dusty drawer forever, that I have also been fiddling around with in my head whenever my current story gets frustrating. And I'd like to see them become finished projects as well. This is my opportunity to build my channel into something that's just more than a booktube channel. It's more than just a writer-tube channel. It's more than just a vlog channel. It is more than just a filmmaking channel. It's my writer's journey. You know, we have like the hero's journey in classical fiction. This is my writer's journey. So I said before that I would bring in the Ides of March, and we're at the 15-minute mark, at least in my raw footage. I'm at the 15-minute mark. So the Ides of March is a Shakespeare reference. Now, I was never big into Shakespeare as a kid. It frustrated me. I was forced to read it in school, and it was too early in my life. I didn't appreciate it at freaking all. I thought Romeo and Juliet were idiots. Macbeth was like handed things on a like he was handed information on a platter and still managed to screw it up. Caesar couldn't fucking take a day off of work. And The Taming of the Shrew is a dated sexist piece of shit that just does not need to just be put away and left to rot. Those are my opinions of the 4 Shakespeare plays that I was forced to read in school. However, Shakespeare and multiple other classical pieces have been coming up in my awareness lately. Last year I got to see Ninagawa Macbeth, which is literally, it's a stage production of Macbeth where Macbeth is set in feudal Japan. Oh my god, I could not buy tickets to that fast enough. It was absolutely freaking gorgeous, and I loved it. For the first time in my life, I loved the story of Macbeth, and since then, other Shakespeare references and other classical fiction things have been coming up in my awareness. Stuff that I was never a fan of. Like when I was a kid, I liked Edgar Allan Poe. I loved Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I loved Tolkien. Jack London is bae. Oh my gosh, Jack London, you guys. That is how animal fiction should be written, just saying. So the Ides of March, to bring it back to Shakespeare, because I talk too much, I can easily go off on a tangent. The Ides of March is the date, March 15th, and in 44 BCE, this was the date that Julius Caesar was assassinated in the Roman Senate. In Shakespeare's play, this was the date that the soothsayer told him to beware of and that he should stay home. So why would I pick March 15th as the day to start off my channel? Well, in my writing nowadays, I absolutely love villains and anti-heroes. I love old magic. I love grand epic tales, like worthy of ballads. I love twisty political thrillers and outcasts, and you know, you guys can't see it, but above me I have like I have this, let me see if I could show you guys. There we go. As you can see above me, I have Sebastian Michaelis from Kuroshitsuji, aka Black Butler. I have the Ring Wraith. I have Kylo Ren. I have I have Maleficent. I have Drogon. I have the Thestral from Harry Potter. Behind me, you see Seto Kaiba. And the, oops, I kicked the tripod, the undead Viserion. This is kind of like a representation, and of course Raichu. And Jaws. This is kind of like a representation of things that I love. And the Ides of March, it's my snarky sense of humor that a date that's a very infamous date that's normally associated with bad luck is something that I embrace. It's considered a turning point in Roman history, and I'm like, you know what, this is going to be a turning point in my writer's journey. This is going to be the day that I finally faced my fear and slew it. I get to be Brutus and stab my fear of cameras and fear of exposure in the back and put it to rest. Because that's just my snarky, twisty sense of humor. And I don't know if that makes sense to any of you. If it only makes sense in my head, if it only makes sense to me, fine, so be it. But I chose this day as a day that I was going to restart this channel. I love that it has a literary reference. I love that it is a not necessarily warm and fuzzy literary reference. I love the snark that I associate with having chosen it. And yeah, so like I said, if that only ever makes sense to me, so be it. Moving forward, because I think this video has gone on plenty long enough, I don't know what my upload schedule is going to be. I know that a lot of people, especially if they're doing vlog style videos, like to do like once a week. Ideally, I would love to do weekly vlogs, but right now my work schedule is all over the place. It is not consistent, and every time I am told there's going to be some kind of consistency, something changes. So I don't believe it anymore. So this will be I will upload when I have something to upload, and I'll probably end up uploading at least once a week if I'm not like pressuring myself to do it on a particular day. I think that I have rambled long enough, so I'm going to end this video. I'm going to thank you for watching if you watched through the end, and I will see you guys next time. If you want to follow me on social media, I am very, very active on Bookstagram. That is my second home on social media, so I will leave the link to that down below, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks again for watching, and bye for now.